And we are in line 24, start our next segment. Then they despised a pleasant land. They did not believe his word, but murmured in their tents and did not heed the voice of the Lord. Therefore he lifted up his hand in an oath against them, to overthrow them in the wilderness, to overthrow their descendants among the nations, and to scatter them in the lands. And so let's go back to line 24. Then they despised a pleasant land. They did not believe his word. And so that sends us to Deuteronomy 8:7. Deuteronomy 8:7. That says, for the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and springs that flow out of valleys and hills. And so that's a good land, a land flowing with milk and honey that God was bringing them to. And so that sends us to Deuteronomy 11:9 through 12. Let's see what that says. And it says, in that you may prolong your days in the land which the Lord swore to give your fathers, to them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land which you go to possess is not like the land of Egypt, from which you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it by foot as a vegetable garden. But the land which you cross over to possess is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks waters from the rain of heaven. That's a wonderful land. That's a wonderful land that they did not appreciate God for. They despised the pleasant land and they did not believe his word. Wow. 25, but this is what they did, but murmured in their tents and did not heed the voice of the Lord. And so that sends us to Numbers 14:2. Wow. Numbers 14:2. That says, and all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron, and the whole congregation said to them, if only we had died in the land of Egypt, or if only we had died in this wilderness. Wow. That's what they said. And then so also to 27, that said, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation who murmur against me? This is God questioning. I have heard the murmurings which the children of Israel murmur against me. And let me read with 28. He says, say to them, as I live, says the Lord, just as you have spoken in my hearing, so I will do to you. The carcasses of you who have murmured against me shall fall in this wilderness. All of you who were numbered according to your entire number, from 20 years old and above, except for Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun, you shall by no means enter the land which I swore I would make you dwell in. And God, he hadn't had enough. He hadn't had enough of that. (26) Therefore he lifted up his hand in an oath against them. And then so we just read about that in Numbers. And then so look at Ezekiel 20 is in on it too. God hadn't had enough. 15 and 16. That says, so I lifted my hand in an oath to them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, the glory of all lands, because they despised my judgments and did not walk in my statutes, but profaned my Sabbaths, for their heart went after their idols. And so we can't do that. We can't go after idols. We always have to put God first in everything that we say and do. We got to put him first. Oh. Then they had the idols, and then I murmured complaining against God. Okay, then so in 27, to overthrow their descendants among the nations, or make the descendants fall also. The people who were after them, they had to fall too, and to scatter them in the lands. So therefore he lifted up his hand in an oath against them, to overthrow them in the wilderness, to overthrow their descendants among the nations, and to scatter them in the lands. And so God did all of that. He did. He really did. And so that goes to show us we have to be appreciative of the things that God does for us. And when God leading us to do something, is not for us to murmur and complain. It's for us to what? To remain in our faith and trust in him. Not doubting or nothing like that. I'll see you in the next segment.